Look at the India versus China comparison. That's often done. Again, that's an easy narrative. But in a sense, globally, if China's economic model is now crashing or going downwards, India is growing. Is that something which is actually counter each other, or are we looking at a global economy which will be hit if China's economy goes down, and India is impacted by that too?
So the biggest concern right now is, see, China, I think, will grow slowly. Right? I don't think China will collapse because, see, well, I at least hope they don't, right? Because if they do, then there's a problem for everyone. Because, it's a tightly controlled model. Almost everything is state-controlled, state-owned. The state has, in fact, further intensified its reach. So China, instead of people expecting 5% growth, I think will grow at 2%. But it's not going to crumble and collapse, right? The problem in the next 12, 18 months is going to be the US. Because
they've also got an election coming up.
That makes it even more interesting,
exactly,
right? So that everyone thought that there would be a recession this year. There was no recession. So now suddenly people have gone into the other extreme of euphoria and saying, oh, soft landing, that they will be able to bring down inflation without causing a recession. But this was achieved by a significant expansion in fiscal deficit. So what happens is, in a year where your fiscal deficit was supposed to be, say, 5%, and you do 8.5 or 9% fiscal deficit, this 3.5, 4% expansion is extra spending. So it supports the economy. Now, if the next year they keep it at 8.5, 9%, there is no further stimulus. And the high interest rates are going to... So there are many, many fault lines in the US economy right now, in the real estate market, in the commercial real estate market. A lot of the loans haven't even rolled over. If you take a fresh mortgage in the US today, your rate will be 7.9%. Their average effective rate is 3.6 because everyone takes fixed rate mortgages in the US. So the impact of the rate increases hasn't even shown up. So I think as that starts to happen from about the middle of next year, the US is where we need to be very worried. India is at about $3.5 trillion, is give or take 3.4, 3.5% of the global economy. If we grow at, say, 10, 11% nominal, we are going to add, maybe 30, 40 basis points to overall global growth. While that is a very large part of incremental global GDP, but it is not enough to move the global GDP.
Right.
But if the US slows down sharply, then I think the whole economy will slow down. The global economy will slow down.